Alrighty. Well, this is a perfect time for me to say that I am live. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. I am doing a stream in the morning, well, at least morning time here in beautiful Sydney, Australia, where because of how most of the human population lives in the Northern Hemisphere, everything's backwards. Except for this, obviously. Yeah, I am live. It is officially 5 minutes past 10 here in the land down under, and I am doing some more 90s era caricatures. So if you like to lurk or if you like to comment, please leave a chat, and let's get stuck into it. Now, obviously, this is something I prepared earlier, so I can sort of slam this out a little bit quicker without having to draw the whole thing from scratch. Now, I need to preface who I'm drawing here. This is the lead singer of M People. And her name is Heather Small. Yeah. So she's been with this band for 30 some years. I think she's got a solo career these days. But if you don't recognize her, that's okay. But I assure you, she was massive way back when. Let's just check the multi-stream. Yep. All quiet on the old Western Front, I guess. We should turn up the music just a teeny bit. So this is part of a much bigger job that I'm currently working on. just need to just pause briefly because it is actually coming into winter time here in Sydney, and unfortunately there's a lot of cold air, because people don't normally think of Australia as a cold country, but the northern part of the country is literally summer year round. Like it's tropical up the very top, and it's subtropical sort of just underneath. But the part of the country that actually has seasons is ironically where the majority of the population lives. And it gets cold, so I'm just gonna close a window. So yeah. Where was I? Oh, that's right. So I will be drawing some more, I guess, UK based artists today. So this one that I'm currently working on is one of the more bigger and ambitious ones that I've done. I've done one for the 80s, and I've done one for the 1950s, and I've done one for the 90s. No, sorry, not the 90s. The 90s one I'm actually working on at the moment. No, the one I'm working on is for. It's a double one for the 90s, but I've also done one for the 70s, which is like the disco era. When music was very goofy and cringy. There were still a few decent hits. So what I'm doing here is called blocking off. Music's a little bit on the loud side, but yeah, what I'm doing here is just blocking off these areas. And I've got a few cool announcements that I may as well share while I have my stream going at the moment. Now this arrived in the mail. Now what it is basically the perfect thing to do a live stream as I'm drawing. So it just, you know, sits with this like sort of padded side on my sternum, and I just put the phone in here like so, and I can essentially draw and film myself. And if I also find myself in a folk band, I can use this to play the harmonica. So I was at this convention over the weekend. This is the first time I ever did Collecticon, which is a specific convention for collectible toys, trading cards, that kind of thing. And I saw this guy walking around, and he had one of these things on. He had like he had a whole rig. He had like a shoulder-mounted miniature camera, and he had like his normal phone, and he had, I think he had a GoPro as well, if I can recall. And he was just wandering around, and I'm just like, what is that, and where do I get one? And yeah, I did a quick search on Amazon, and I was able to find one, and yeah, it arrived yesterday, and now I'll be able to live stream gigs. Which is also very cool. So what I'm planning on doing is actually wearing this thing on an upcoming stream. I'm not sure if it's going to be tonight's one, because I'm actually doing 2 streams today. But yeah, that'll be absolutely in the works. So let's block in this hair. And this is a technique I developed back when I was making comics. So I made this comic as an exercise when I was doing, what's it called? When I was in high school doing art, like studying art. The thing about studying art is you don't really need to. I mean, taking classes on how to draw should really be the only thing you are taught in art. But what nearly always gets taught in art is art theory. because here's a rather sad little secret. Most art teachers don't know how to draw. At least not the ones I've encountered. And that always struck me as strange. It's like, of all the things that you want to go to university to get a teaching degree in, that you don't know how to do. It's like, of all the things you could pick. Like, why would you have picked that? But I think the way they teach art is to specifically discourage like young people, like high school students, from wanting to pursue a career in it. Like, I genuinely believe that, you know, you can dabble with it in high school. You can pursue it briefly in tertiary education, like if you go to college or university. Every now and then I have to just answer a text message. This is why I don't normally stream during like the day. But I've kind of gotten back into the swing of content creation, because for a whole, like, yeah, nearly 3 months, my my output just kind of cratered. Didn't really upload anything, didn't really have the creative drive to put anything out there. But now I'm just like, and I think this boils down to like the power of the carnivore diet, which for those of you who regularly tune in and watch my channel, I have started to sort of talk a lot more about. I'm also getting back into a bit more gaming. I downloaded Dead Space, and yeah, I don't like that game as much as I thought I would. Like, I love survival horror, but yeah, it's just... And the game is sort of growing on me, but I don't know, I'm sort of stuck in this area where you kind of have to have like these cat-like reflexes to deal with these sort of mangled alien zombie undead things that just rush at you. And the thing is, like, headshots won't necessarily kill these things. In fact, it's almost a guarantee that headshots won't kill them. It'll slow them down a little bit, but they can just as easily kill you without a head. In fact, cutting off their head just annoys them. So a special Hello to anyone who's just joining me now. It's okay if you don't recognize this person here, but yeah, she's the one who I'm drawing. Now this stream will be a little bit shorter, but I am going live later on tonight with a much more full-on stream. Actually, I might give her sparkly earrings. Get all glamorous. So what's coming up in the next stream after this one? I've got a whole bunch of fan art that I want to make because the convention season is back and it's going to be huge this year. Although I'm not doing as many interstate conventions as I normally do, but I will be touring Melbourne in June. I'm actually gonna put up details for that. Yeah, anyway, back to my rant about learning art in high school. I think the way, and I mentioned this before, but I have a theory that art is actually discouraged. Like, by making art as unexciting and as limited as possible, it really helps sort of curtail the desire for young people to want to pursue a career in it. And that's kind of sad, but at the same time, I can see the economic benefit for having as few artists as possible in the community, because most of them are not good with money. In fact, most of them don't make very much money. Like, I'm kind of a rare exception to this because I don't regard myself as an artist, even though, like, I draw for a living. Because what I do is more of a trade than it is, like, you know, a form of expression, so to speak. And by the way, when I say art, the kind of art that I make, I know, yes, it is the work of an artist, but I'm actually an illustrator. That's the ink layer done. Let's fix this weird looking earring. So when I first started out, I originally wanted to be in animation, and to a certain degree I still do. But animation it's a fun job, but it's a very sort of thankless job. Like, the magic of being able to bring a drawing to life, you know, to give the illusion that it's actually moving. Yeah, that's something I can still do very easily. And the cool thing about Procreate is you can actually do animation on Procreate, which is it's also fun. So I'm going to put her in the red dress. So depending on what technique works best in the situation, you just go with that. And I find that sometimes just the not worrying about selecting an area and doing a flood fill, it's just way better. I think this lady is Nigerian. Descent. I think, I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe she's Caribbean. Or Caribbean. You can pronounce it either way. Yep. Gotta be careful with the flood fill. So I'll be really turning up the heat from now on when it comes to producing content. Like, this will be the first time I've done 2 streams in one day, I think forever. So what you're watching right now is more of a test than anything else. I also have to work on producing some trailers for upcoming live streams. I'm very power of now that we're sort of nearly halfway through another year. It's interesting how, like, when you're 6 months in, and you're in your 40s, you start to become very mindful of the passage of time. Like, you begin to understand, like, those silly phrases like today is the first day of the rest of your life and stuff like that. I mean, it's not a logical statement, but there's something, I don't know, there's something sentimental about it that I think, you know, appeals to a lot of people. So yeah, that's how I now approach my streaming schedule. I try to be as mindful and in the moment as I can, because we don't get this time back. since I'm going live across multiple platforms, it's also nice to not have my my earpods in. The thing is, I tend to go the entire day with those things in my ears, and after a while, like, they start to hurt. Like, I'm pretty sure they were designed to be like ergonomic, but not to be worn 12 hours a day. To then only be removed briefly to charge up. So the next one after this might be a little bit more recognizable to anyone who was a kid in the 90s, who grew up in Australia, or even the UK. But if you don't know who the next guy is, I will not blame you. He was, to give you a few hints, he had like this sort of couple of mega hits, and then he decided to relocate to the UK. He essentially just turned his back on Australia completely, and yeah, has lived in Great Britain ever since. Like, I don't understand the allure of the UK, honestly. And brighten her up just a teeny bit. Just a bit dark. So yeah, doing a day stream, I'm kind of expecting like hardly anyone to tune in, but I'm really happy that there's at least a few of you out there. Hair's a little bit dark. Yep. So I'll be wrapping this one up fairly soon. And then I'll be going on a short-ish break. And I'll be back with the next one straight after. So that's a perfect opportunity if you're so inclined to go make a cuppa. If you're so inclined. What do we have here? Oh, that's right. Yeah, so one of the other cool things I picked up from doing the conventions recently is cage and cube displays. Now, I'd seen these, you know, quite frequently in other conventions that I'd been to, but I never quite knew what they were called. And now I know that I can just easily order them, you know, online, get them delivered. So I'm not like worrying about having to lug around my my normal setup. Is another game changer. Like, I learned something new at every convention that I go to. And yeah. Last weekend was a real eye-opener for me. Yes, 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 I know. Just gonna block in these with blue. Rather than try to get clever with the design. See, the way I draw these, the way I draw caricatures in general is, it's like I'm designing for an animation studio. Like, I want these to have like a certain amount of personality to them. I want them all to look as unique as they possibly can. But at the same time, like, I want to draw them in such a way that if these designs were ever going to be used in like a Netflix series, they could be, you know, instantly recognizable as my style. Like, I follow a few animators and guys who've worked as both caricaturists and character designers. So Butch Hartman, he's the creator of the Fairly Odd Parents. And who else? Steven Silver. He created Kim Possible. And Genndy Tartakovsky, who did Samurai Jack. And the Hotel Transylvania series, which is highly underrated and absolutely hilarious. Like, of all the things that Adam Sandler has made, the Hotel Transylvania movies are kind of at the top of my list of Happy Madison production like platinum level content. So, if anyone out there is sort of remembering what it was like seeing Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, which are the two movies that, you know, Adam Sandler chose to name his production company. Like, they're still the gold standard for his best work. Because he was pretty new to making movies back then. And now he's just making like he makes more arty stuff now, and like there's this new one where he's like an astronaut who has these like strange, deep and meaningful philosophical arguments with a giant imaginary spider. There's like a whole bunch of Adam Sandler content that like isn't funny. It's all dramatic and stuff, or like art house. And I think what's happened with Adam Sandler is similar to what's happened to Jim Carrey. Like when I was a kid, like back in the like early 90s, Jim Carrey was the funniest man alive. But now he's kind of more content to play the bad guy slash weird misunderstood guy. Yeah, it's all a little bit hard to swallow these days. But anyway, I will be going on a short break. Thank you once again, everyone who's tuned in, and I will be right back.
It's strange how some printed words can evoke emotion. The old versus the new.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone for being so patient. I knew that took a little bit longer than I expected it to, but I assure you I am back. Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Okay, so now moving on to the second and final subject for this particular morning live stream, which I'm hoping to sort of wrap up around about lunchtime so I can get on with the rest of what I need to do today. Now, for those of you who don't know who this is Peter Andre, and yeah, he used to look like this, and now he looks like this. So essentially, the man hasn't aged at all, which is astonishing. But yeah, he seems to have kept himself in relatively... Ooh. Oh no. That's the last thing I need. Come on. There we go. Yeah. The cord to the iPad can be a teeny bit temperamental, but anyway, enough of this palaver. Let's get this show on the road. So this one as well is going to be, you know, relatively simple design. And again, this is something I prepared earlier. It's amazing how yeah, some people are just blessed when it comes to the looks department. And the rest of us have to be like, okay. I mean, Peter Andre is almost handsome, if that makes sense. Just a, like he's kept himself extremely well toned, and I think that's part of the secret. You know, if you don't eat that much and if you exercise a lot, it can really help. But also when it comes to, and I know I talk about this a lot, but like the carnivore diet just helps you regulate that kind of thing. Because you know, when you hear people say, oh, people don't know what they had for breakfast, when you do carnivore, you know. Because there's no ambiguity, there's no like, oh, what did I have for breakfast, you know? Because quite often when you're doing the carnivore diet, you don't need breakfast. It's amazing. Like, you can fast for like sometimes days on little more than water and the occasional midnight snack. Like, it's really, really cool. Hang on. He's got a bit of bling on him. So there's a chance that I might be going to the UK sooner rather than later. Not entirely sure when, but I have a feeling that it's on the cards. So yeah. And other things I've noticed about doing the carnivore diet is like my energy is so much better. Like, I seem to be able to work like super fast. I don't think I've been this productive really ever. which I'm really happy about. So before, when I had coffee and stuff, I'd get like this burst of, I guess what you'd call like the cheap nitrous boost of sugar. And then I'd crash. I'd literally have to have like sort of a mid-afternoon nap. And that never really made sense to me. Like if I'd had a big day, I just wait until I could actually, you know, properly go to sleep. But I've found like increasingly that I need to take these naps like an old man. And that's when I just knew something was wrong. So I'm not actually drawing with white here, I'm just using the eraser. That's much better. Alrighty. Let's chuck a bit of color on this guy and I'll call it a stream. that's great news. So just another quick update. I just read that I can also go live on my TikTok because apparently there's no stream key required. So that's another cool thing. So yeah, the announcements just keep rolling in. Very happy about that development. I wonder if they're ever going to bring back this particular hairstyle. You never know. I like to keep these designs as simple as I can. Block in the color, then take the eraser and trim it back. So I guess now in some upcoming streams, be sure to check me out on TikTok. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work, but I'm going to do some test streams on there, and I'll do some other test streams on Instagram. See how those pan out. Oh. Sometimes I forget what setting I've got these on. So I was going to do a personal training session this morning. Then I realized a few fundamental things about what would be required in order for me to do the personal training. And the first thing is, despite all evidence to the contrary, I am not a morning person. Like, I get up early-ish, but if I don't have to be up, you know, the way I see it is I shouldn't have to be up. And the other thing is, like, I met the guy that would be doing the personal training of me, and it's just kind of that awkward moment when you realize that you're not only older than the personal trainer, but you probably know more than they do. And that's just me making assumptions, but the chances of me being like right, I very much believe are higher than normal. And the thing is, I didn't really want to get the guys' hopes up that I'd be like doing anything other than the 3 free sessions that my gym had on offer. Because at no point in my fitness journey have I ever been like at the gym and thinking to myself, you know what would be great? Someone telling me to do what I'm doing. So yeah, I just opted out. Like, it's weird. You do get to a certain age where you can kind of get the gist of things very quickly. Because, you know, you've been there, you've done that. You've got the t-shirt. You know, I think it's like people who haven't figured out how to recognize the patterns that show up in life again and again. I think those are the ones that tend to get blindsided a lot more when something bad goes down. Yeah, the post is here. Yep. Kind of made him look like he's wearing cheap lipstick. This one's close to done. It's interesting when like Australian-born celebrities just move to countries that have more going on. Like, I wouldn't regard myself as a celebrity just yet, but I'm getting there. Like, these things, they take time, patience, a lot of showing up. That's the cool thing about it. Like, you don't have to really concern yourself too much. With how long it's gonna take, as long as you get there in the end. At least that's how I see it. I mean, there's this pervasive theory that hard work beats talent every time. And I actually disagree. Oh. I think if you have talent, that's one thing. Talent on its own is like having like a really cool, like, book that you never read. But hard work by itself isn't entirely the answer either. Because I know plenty of hard-working, untalented people. You know, in fact, most people don't mind doing a fair amount of hard work to get where they're going, but they work in like regular jobs. They do hard work in, you know, things like 9 to 5s and everything, or they do shift work. Like, hard work without talent is just hard work. A hardworking, talented person, now that is the ultimate double threat. I think everyone else as well is like on a separate path, and that too is okay. This is why I promote the carnivore diet, but I don't like, and I recommend it, but I don't push it on anybody. Because you can't really, you know. Unlike vegans who tend to get a little bit crazy for themselves. Like, if you've ever seen like vegan protests, they're always like sad and hilarious. Kind of made his 5 o'clock shadow a little bit too dark. I have a feeling this particular picture will be ideal for like the hens nights. Wow, we're already at the 2-hour mark. I guess I can just keep plugging away at this. It's nearly done. Some final tweaks on the muscles. Yeah, he kind of looks like a sassy genie frolicking around in the water. Make sure make sure I color in his nips as well. There we go. All right. And yeah, that's with his that's his previous wife here, and that's his new wife here. I don't know if he's got a filter on or anything, but yeah, dude scrubs up all right for being nearly 60. Well, anyway, I guess that brings me to the end of another stream. I'm actually pretty happy with how this one turned out. Special thanks to everyone who showed up, said hi, and stuck around. And yeah, I guess I will be back later on tonight. Obviously Australian time, so if you're watching, say, in the Northern Hemisphere, particularly in the United States, yeah, I'll be on at 10 p.m. Australian time. So yeah, wherever you are up there in the good old US of A, and you want to catch me doing my drawings and stuff, be sure to tune in at the equivalent time to where you are. Should be sometime in the morning or in the wee small hours. But yeah, what's going to be on the next one? Yep, I'll be doing more anime stuff. The final day of anime. Get it? Anime. Anyway, but yeah, should be a lot of fun, and I'll see ya when I see ya. See ya.